Welcome to the Smart Travel Family YouTube channel and the tour of the TF-12 trail in Anaga Rural Park. This trail goes from Cruz del Carmen to Bajamar town, and you could characterize this trail by either the perfect trail for training for trail runs or probably one of the most boring ones out of the all official 12 Anaga Rural Park trails. Speaking of the TF-12 trail, it has two other variations, TF-12-2 that ends in Pedro Alvarez village and 12-1 that ends in Tegeste, but today we are doing the main variation until Bajamar. I am doing the trail in December, so which explains the cloudy weather. This is not fog, we are at 800 meters above sea level, and unfortunately it's that kind of a day where you will really not get any beautiful vistas. This video is a part of a series of videos where I'm doing all of the Anaga Rural Park official trails, and how these videos work is I make a short clip roughly every kilometer or at particularly noteworthy or interesting spots that you should be aware of. We are at the first kilometer of the trail. This is definitely the perfect running trail. It's all the way downhill, perfectly wide and flat, as are pretty much most of the trails that start from Cruz del Carmen, because it's the most favorite spot for most of hikers, tourists. So they are well maintained and there are lots of people there, so there is no overgrowth whatsoever. Just to give you an impression of what parts of the trail look like, and this is it. Look at this beautiful moss here, and of course it's much more beautiful if you get a few kilometers further until the old Pico del Incles road. It's the picturesque one where the road is cut in the middle of a rock mountain, but this is second best to it. I don't particularly like trails that intersect with roads, but of course the roads have to go somewhere. If you don't want to run on the road, you of course can do it also on this track next to the road. It looks roughly like this. After 300 meters of running either on the road or on the smaller trail there, you will arrive at this large intersection that will either lead you to the Pedro Alvarez village or Los Batanas. If you are not using a navigation app, be sure to follow these small poles there. This is where your trail goes. Don't run further there, because otherwise you will not follow the TF-12 trail. Here you are getting some steeper, more rapid descent, but of course that just makes it all so much more fun. 2.5 kilometer mark, and if you have followed all of the directions, you should arrive at this intersection where there is the crossing where the trails split up. TF-12-2 goes to the left and TF-12 and 12-1 go to the right. We are following this route here. As you can see, running conditions are just absolutely perfect. It is purely downhill and so flat. It's a pleasure to run. I am now close to my record time at like 440 minutes a kilometer. At 3.2 kilometers, this is a bit confusing intersection. There are 1, 2, 3 possible paths that you could take. I see that the marathon that was just taking place to the downhill path, which according to the maps me also could take. Probably it goes down and then uphill, but actually once again, if you don't use a navigation app, pay attention to those trail markers. This is the way to go. One of the nicest moments in trail running in Tenerife is when you get out of the woods and come closer to the openings where is the sea coast or other vistas. This is the first such place in the park, so what you can already see the ocean. Now that you are bored with this trail, it's too flat or boring for you, you can take the trail down here and connect to the TF-10 or 11 trail and get to Punta Hidalgo. I assure you that that path will be much more wild than this one. Otherwise, this is what the trail looks like at kilometer 4. Less forest, but still the same excellent trail running conditions. We also at the 4 kilometer mark, the last crossroads where the TF-12 continues to the right, but if you continue this trail, TF-12-1, after 5 kilometers you will end up in the Tegeste town. No idea what the heck this is. 4.4 kilometers. Looks like a wild dog colony. They are surprisingly well kept, so I guess probably the owner is actually somewhere nearby. But in case if you are afraid of dogs and plan to do hiking or trail running in Tenerife, I've done now quite a few trails and I've never actually had an incident with dogs. Once you reach this spot in the trail at approximately the 5-kilometer mark, really pay attention to either your navigation app or the trail markings. As you see, there is a cross there, so you are not supposed to go there. The trail continues down here. That's where we will go, but I actually suggest that you make a 200-300 meter detour for some superb views like this. Check it out, and then you can return to the trail. If you will do the short detour that I'm recommending, then probably this trail's reputation will be to some extent rehabilitated, because then at least you are getting some nice views that you would not get if you follow the trail as it's meant to be done, because then you will get up here to these nice rocks, reach here, and we'll get such a good 360-degree panorama, which it's actually really hard to get on any other trail on the island in the Anaga Rural Park. Having seen those superb views there, I'm really sorry that that part has not been included in the official trail, because I think it would have really improved the experience of people. But I mean, we have to follow on this relatively boring path. I'm happy that I'm running, because if I would be walking, I would be probably dying of boredom. We are at the 5.5 kilometer mark, and if you took the detour that I recommended, then you would have gone up there and got an even better view than right here. But finally, we are also getting some nice views from this trail. Just a look around. This is where we descended from the very top, and it seems that we are descending still down there. Roughly on the 6.5 kilometer mark, we have finished the more steep descent right now, and we are now on a flatter, more regular path. Now, some more impressions of what the trail looks like now, so that it's not as rough as it was half a kilometer ago. So you see, it's much more civilized, easy now again. And here you can already see Bajamar in the distance. So roughly 2.5 kilometers still to go. Still on my way to Bajamar, but wanted to show you this beautiful scenery, the rocks here, roughly at the 7.5 kilometer mark. I just love it. I know I was very critical of the trail in the first half of it, but here, this section here is truly stunning. Really, it would be a pleasure to hike and run in any type of weather. One more somewhat rougher descent to the town. I think about 1 kilometer still to go. And this is the scenery as you are entering Bajamar. I am doing the trail not only in December but also quite late in the evening. It's around, I think, 6 p.m. so getting close to sunset. So this is why it doesn't look very shiny and sunny, but the weather is still very nice. So this is definitely a trail that you can do all year round. Last navigation tip: already in the city, watch out for the markings. This means you have to turn to the right. The last kilometer of the trail is quite nice. It's sort of in an agricultural zone. You can maybe see some cultivated and uncultivated fields around me. So it's sort of nice that you see sort of the local diversity and how is it that some people make their living. Nice introduction to the island. And with this, the trail is basically almost done. One more barranco, ravine, quite nice and lush usually, and then it's basically down this road, and there you can decide yourself when you want to stop. This is the end of the trail. You are coming down this road here, and then already if you are traveling back to La Laguna by bus, then the bus station is right there. If someone is picking you up, then there are plenty of spaces where to park. The TF-12 trail is starting from Cruz del Carmen and goes all the way to Bajamar, and it is very well served with buses. There are a whole 5 buses that pass through here, and you basically can get there every 40 to 60 minutes, which is quite a difference from some other trails in Anaga Rural Park, where you get, for example, here to the TF6 trail buses only 3 times a day. if you end up in Cruz del Carmen, it's the main base station of the Anaga Rural Park, where you can start several trails. Also, if you travel a bit, you are connected to the rest of the park, but specifically from right here, you have the option of doing the TF-10 trail to Punta Hidalgo through the beautiful Chinamada caves and Chinamada village, which also has, by the way, a quite good restaurant with superb views. The TF-11 trail also still to Punta Hidalgo, and the TF-12 trail that we are doing today to Bajamar, the tents at a natural pool there. By the way, here also is a very short, nice trail called Sendero de los Sentidos that is useful for families and also people with disabilities, because it has some flat sections and it's a circular route. If you are descending the trail, then it's roughly 800 meters, vertical meters down to the sea level. The total ascent this way is not more than 80 meters. But of course, if you are coming here to Cruz del Carmen from the ocean coast, then it's the reverse. It would be 800 meters of vertical ascent, making this an intermediate or to some extent hard trail.